Hello and welcome back to my channel, Blockhead Pictures. Today I'm going to be doing something new with my Jeep JL. I am going to be replacing the factory tray for the dash here with a ram mount that is specifically made for the Jeep JL. You can see here that I currently have a ram mount suction cup with a ram mount arm connected to a Scosche MagicMount Pro Qi charger for my iPhone. The cable currently for the charger goes along the trim here, down under the grab handle, down around, and then plugs into the 12-volt source here. I'm going to be taking the dash apart a little bit here to get to the cigarette lighter, and I'm going to put in a 12-volt to 5-volt adapter that will allow me to not have to use this plug-in adapter. It'll just connect directly to the power source that I'll run up here to the back of the Qi charger to make it look nice and clean. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, here's everything we're going to need to do the installation. First off, we have the ram mount itself, the base plate that actually goes in with the screw holes for where it mounts to the factory connectors, the T-track where the ram mount balls will slide into. I got two of the T-channel ram mounts. They're 1-inch size B. Got two of those. The screws that come with the kit. I have a 4-inch ram mount arm and a 2-inch ram mount arm, depending on which one I want to go with. I've got my voltmeter in order to check out which wire in the dash is going to give me power for my 12-volt to 5-volt power adapter that has the correct power connector for my Scosche MagicMount Pro. I have a 3D printed adapter ball that allows me to convert the smaller size ram mount, or the smaller size ball on the MagicMount Pro to the correct size. So you can see it's got a little channel there. Everything slides on, and then the arm for the ram mount will squeeze this and hold it in place. We have various dash removal tools, a pair of wire cutters and a pair of strippers, a Phillips head screwdriver, and then the connectors that we're going to use to connect everything to the wiring. Alright, first things first, we need to remove this entire front panel here that controls the air conditioning. This particular panel is easy to remove, but you don't want to force it. You want to take your time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our tool, and right below the ignition on the curve here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little curve right here. We're just going to pry this piece down. We just need this corner right here to be able to hang down a little bit. Then coming over here on the right hand side, you stick your tool in, pull it off a little bit. Once you get a little bit off, you just slowly and gently pull. Don't force it, but just pull, and the whole unit will come out just like this. Alright, once we have the air conditioning control panel out of the way, you're going to see that there's a single screw right here that holds the lower assembly where if you have power windows, where your windows and everything are, including your 12-volt and your media adapter. So all we're going to do is we're just going to take that screw out. When you take that screw out, this panel also has clips right here and here, here and here. Trying not to be in the way here, here and here. And we're just going to pull at the top here gently back until it snaps out of the way. So, as you can see, we now have the cigarette lighter adapter available for us to tap into. So here's what I'm talking about on the cigarette lighter. This is what we need to connect to in order to pull our source of power to automatically connect and charge our Qi charger. We've got an orange and I guess that looks like bluish line. We've got a pink and a yellow, and then we have a black. Black, of course, is going to be for our ground, and pink is going to be our power source, I believe, from what I've read online. But what I would recommend doing is actually testing this out. So that's what we're going to do right now. I don't know if you can see this. It's got to come over this little lip, the blue thing does, you push it out and then pull the connector this way, and then this blue piece will slowly slide below there on both sides, and then that'll allow you to press this part in, press in here and squeeze it and pull it out. So you press and pull. It's kind of one of those things. It's very difficult to see with one hand, but that allows you to pull this connector out. Okay, I've got my car running, and you've got the connector here, and if you look at the back, you'll see that the black goes into this bottom portion. You've got the pink and yellow and the orange and blue. So the black is obviously ground, so you're going to take your lead for your voltage meter and you're going to plug it into the very bottom connector there. Now, I have been told that the pink and the yellow is the 12 volt source, so I'm going to go ahead and test that one. And if you look, it just jumped up on my voltmeter to 13.94. If I test the other side, I'm at 0.032. But with my ignition running, the yellow and pink connector give me 13 volts. So I know that I need to tie into the ground for ground, the black wire for ground, and the pink and yellow wire for power. All right, the next thing I need to do is, before I tag into the cigarette lighter connector, I'm going to remove this trim piece for the radio by removing these two screws down here, because I need to run the cable up behind here, and then I'm going to bring it out right here in this corner to connect to my Scosche MagicMount Pro. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to basically just slowly work this thing off. Again, don't force it, just gently pull, and the clips will come out all by themselves. So now I'll have the ability to run my cable back through here and bring it out here and have power where I want it. Okay, the next thing I need to do is I need to tap into these lines. Now I can do that multiple different ways. I can cut the line and then tie into it and then seal it back up, or I can use one of these little clips that you put the wire through, just like so, and then you cinch it down, and it gives you the ability to take another connector and plug it into it and pull power and ground off the same lines. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, now that I have them on there, I need to test to make sure that we're getting power again. All right, now that we're ready to go, I've got my voltmeter again. I'm going to take my black lead, plug it into the black cable connector, and I'm going to take my red lead and plug it into the yellow and pink connector, and you can see that immediately we have gone straight to 14 volts, so we're good to go on the power. So now all I need to do is take these connectors off again. These are the actual connectors that are going to connect to the 12 volt to 5 volt adapter. So I need to take some wire strippers, and I need to strip a little bit more off of this cable on both of them. So you put the wire in there, you squeeze, and it pulls it apart. So all I'm going to do is put it in there, squeeze, and it gives me a little bit more room to play with. I'm going to take one of the connectors, and I'm going to push it in there, and then I'm going to take a pair of crimps, and I'm just going to crimp down onto that wire like so. Now I've got a good solid connection with the connector that I need in order to plug it into and get power. So I'm going to do the other power side, do the exact same thing, plug the wire in, get it lined up, take some snips that have a little crimping, this little U section right there. You're going to put it in just like this and just squeeze it down. Once that's done, test it, make sure. You've got 2 different connectors here. Again, we want to do black to black and red to the pink and yellow. So I'm going to plug in the black connector here, and I'm going to plug in the red to the pink and yellow, and my adapter should be getting power already. So all I'm going to do is take this twisty tie off, and I'm going to plug this into my Scosche MagicMount Pro. And then I'm going to put this on my phone. And you can see that it started charging automatically. So I've got the charge icon. If I take this off of there, put it back on, it starts charging. So I think we're good to go. I can seal everything up. So we're just going to do everything in the reverse order. Some of this may be difficult to see, but I need to plug the connector back into the back of the cigarette lighter. So this actually is orientated this way. So this blue piece, this blue connector, is going to be facing the passenger side of your vehicle. So it just slides right in, and then you just keep pushing the connector in. I'm trying to get out of the way here so you can see it, until the blue piece locks. And it'll go, like I said, there's that piece right here, and then the blue piece will go over it and lock down. So once that's done, you know, we're still good to go. So I want to do one more test before I button everything up to make sure I didn't lose any signal, any power when I did that. So I'm going to plug this back in, and I'm going to hook my phone back up to it again, and it's charging. So I think we're good to go. I've got everything hooked back up, everything's connected, my panels are back on. All I'm going to do is just do a quick test on my Scosche MagicMount again with my phone. And we're charging. So we're good. So now we're ready to put on the RAM mount. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and apologize up front for the shaky camera that we're probably going to have a little bit through here. But this factory insert right here needs to come out. So it's just a piece of rubber. You grab it on one end and you pull it out. We don't need it anymore. Get rid of it. So there's 2 screws here, one on the left side and one on the right hand side, that both need to come out. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, next thing we need to do is we need to remove the 2 screws. There's 2 factory screws, one here and one here. They're going to hold the base plate in. So just get it lined up. Drop them in the cup holder. And then drop it in the cup holder. Okay, now that we've got the screws out, we need to put in the new plate. And it has screw holes that correspond with the factory ones. So all we're going to do is we're going to screw those in. But first what we want to do is we want to take this second piece that has the little cutout here in the middle. And it's got all these little screw holes. Those screw holes, you can see, line up with the screw holes on the mount itself. So I'm not going to film this, but I'm going to go ahead and use the short screws that were provided and screw this down onto the plate. Okay, here's the completed piece with all the screws done. So all we need to do now is to take the factory screws that came out up here and put them back in. once that's in there, you can test it. It's not going anywhere. It's very rugged. We can go ahead and put in our slide pieces. Put them in the channel, get them where you want them, and you just turn them to tighten them. Don't have anything to go on the passenger side yet, but probably let my wife use it for longer road trips. Okay, so I've got my 3D printed ball for my Scosche MagicMount that allows me to adapt it to a 1-inch ram mount. So all I need to do is to take my 4-inch ram arm, put it on there. I'm just going to squeeze it like that. And I'm going to plug in my power to the bottom and then just press it onto the 1-inch ball and get everything lined up the way I want it. Go ahead and start my car once I have everything where I want it. I'm just going to go ahead and put my phone on the MagicMount, and you can see already that it's charging. So I've got a nice secure mount. Holds my phone, charges it. I have no cables going anywhere. All my wiring is nice and clean. And I can move it to left and right to fit my needs, but I think right there is going to be perfect for me. Let's get. Here's a nice shot from the driver's side showing how it's connected with the ram arm to my Scosche mount across the top where the T connector goes in, and then a spare one on the passenger side of the vehicle. And here's a nice shot of the passenger side of the vehicle showing the T-rail and the connectors. I'm going to drive around with it for a couple of days and test it out, and I'll be back to give you my final thoughts. I've been using the mount for a few days, and I'm really pleased so far with how it's working out for me. It's very stable, it's very solid, and I like the fact that I don't have any wires or anything running around. It's where it doesn't look like a bad install anymore. The 12 volt to 5 volt adapter seems to be doing good, and all in all, I'm very pleased. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, you got something from it, and stay tuned for more videos to come. Thanks again for stopping by.